play or structure? What's the best way for children to learn? Hi, I'm Dr. Megan, and I guide people in growing, learning, and cultivating connection and curiosity. When we think about how children learn best, many of us have our own ideas and preferences when it comes to answering this question. A lot of people might think that structure is the best way for children to learn when you have explicit, clear expectations and a highly organized and structured environment with specific drills and questions that you're asking. Many other people would say that play is the best way for children to learn when you're following a child's lead and really connecting with their motivation. What if I told you the answer isn't as simple as choosing one over the other? Play-based learning has been shown in the research to promote better skills when it comes to problem solving and creativity, and sometimes just acquiring learning overall for some children. For other children, the structured approach really helps to organize the environment and teach new skills that are difficult to teach through play. Generally speaking, at least in behavior analysis, I tend to see more people leaning towards structured approaches, even when they say that they're following a more child-led, happy, relaxed, and engaged, hands-off, compassionate, progressive, today's ABA, whatever terms you want to use. In the teaching style, I still see a lot of structure involved compared to play-based. So here's the question. Are we relying too much on structure because it's easier to measure and maybe a little bit more comfortable for us as behavior analysts, when a play-based approach might be more appropriate for certain situations and certain clients? In future videos, we'll be looking at these different variables, especially understanding what types of skills might be best suited for a structured approach and what types of skills might be best suited for a play-based approach, including what the research says about both of these. Let's take a critical look at these tools and strategies for teaching and see how we can do better when it comes to deciding how much structured versus play-based interaction we're going to have in our sessions. Structured or play-based, there's no one size fits all in answering this question. But by reflecting on what really benefits our learners, we can create the best learning environments that create thriving and independence for our clients. If you would like to follow along on this conversation, especially the research relating to structured versus play-based, feel free to give me a follow, and I would love to see your comments about what you currently do, structured or play-based, or maybe a mixture of the two. What's the right way to prompt? It might be simpler than you think. Hi, I'm Dr. Megan, and I guide people in growing, learning, and fostering connection and curiosity. Prompting is a common strategy that we all use when teaching, whether we're parents, behavior analysts, or teachers. But how often do we stop to think, is the prompting I'm using actually working? At its core, prompting is about giving just enough support to guide a learner in engaging in a new behavior or safer response. Whether it's a verbal cue, a gesture, an indirect hint, or physically assisting someone with their permission, what we do is intended to help the learner acquire the response independently for themselves. The goal is to teach with as little assistance as necessary. And of course, if we take over too much, we run the risk of creating not just prompt dependence, but other errors in learning as well. So how can we avoid that? It first starts with making sure we're reflecting on our own practices and what effect our prompting strategies are having. By focusing on what the learner truly needs and determining whether or not our prompts are empowering or hindering our learner's progress, we set the stage for effective interventions and instruction. In future videos, we will explore how to fine-tune our prompting techniques, because sometimes knowing when to step back is the best support we can provide. If this is something you would like to learn more about, make sure to give me a follow and comment with common prompting strategies or issues that you have faced in the past.